I didn't know you could do it that easily. That's cool.
Yeah, I didn't know we could do that either until a couple months ago.
Wow.
Anyways, Alex, thanks for joining us. If you guys watching this live, I'm here with my guy, Alex. He's down about roughly 13 pounds over a 12-week time. So he's been able to start making his transformation, and we're still going. So, Alex, thanks for joining me, bro. Why don't you go ahead and tell the folks about like what you do, what your lifestyle's like, career-wise, and because I think people will be able to relate to that, man.
Yes, I'm a software engineer in Austin, Texas. Just been working at home like everyone else for the past 8 months or whatever it's been now.
Yeah.
Prior to this, I been working out once in a while and kind of dieting once in a while, but it's been kind of hard to stay consistent. So
yeah. Dude, I talked to a lot of people about this. I know, like you said, you've been working from home for like 8+ months, like a lot of people. Did you find that when you lost the structure and the routine of going to work at a certain time and having lunch break at a certain time, that it kind of threw off your workouts and your eating? Because it's not like you're new to fitness. Like, you've been doing this. Do you feel like that threw off that structure for you?
yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm working like, just literally steps away from the kitchen. It is not easy to stay away from that. So pretty much I could just leave at any time and eat whatever I want, and that was not good.
Yeah. Yes, that makes sense. You lost the structure, and plus it's hard to like separate work and play, right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Bed's like right there. You got all these distractions, I'm sure. So it's hard to just go say, all right, I'm gonna go work out in the living room. But anyways, like, where would you say that your fitness was at, like, before we started, man? Because I know you were 13, 15 pounds heavier. Like, how did you feel? What was your energy like? How'd you feel about your physique, that kind of thing?
Yeah, so I mean, I was working on and off a few times a week. It was really inconsistent, just in the apartment gym here. And I mean, it was, it felt good to work out, but it just wasn't consistent enough to get any really good results, nor was it consistent enough to maintain like a good energy level. Because like when I wouldn't work out would be usually when I cheat on my diet too. So it was just kind of this roller coaster of like, oh, I'm doing really good, I'm working out, and I'm on my diet, and then like, then I just wouldn't. And like energy and attitude and like confidence kind of suffers too, like when you go down. And then you kind of pick it back up, and it's great, but then it kind of goes down again. So
Yeah.
it's really hard to like keep that consistent and keep it balanced.
Yeah. No, for sure. When you say confidence and energy, do you mean like in general about yourself, or you mean towards the process? Like, you were maybe discouraged by the weight loss process because it was just like so up and down?
Both really. I mean, because like it's discouraging because when I am on track, I know I can do it because I'm like headed in the right direction. But then there's like that inevitable cheat day or whatever, and then you head back down to like where you don't want to be, or I guess up in weight really.
Yeah.
And that's not good, and that kind of gets you discouraged. And a lot of times will make you just cheat even more because you're like, screw it, like why should I even keep doing this? It's not working now, so.
Yeah, and then when you're out with friends, it's so easy to just make the bad decision because you're like, man, fuck it. It's all or nothing, right? And I can see how that could affect your confidence in other ways too, just because it's like, it feels good to be competent. It feels good to, do what you say you're going to do. It feels good to be consistent with something, because something that you're aligned with, something that's congruent with your values. So I totally understand that, man. And how did you and I get connected? Like, how did you find me and we started working together? And like, were you resistant at first to that?
Yeah, we connected on Facebook somehow. I don't actually remember how, but
probably a group or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I think you messaged me a few times, and then after COVID started, and I started to see my weight go up, and wasn't able to get a handle on it. I'm like, yeah, maybe this is something I should try out.
Yeah.
And I mean, I definitely was resistant at first because I'd never done any coaching like this before, and there's a lot of like, fake influencer types out there, so it's kind of, you gotta be careful.
Yeah, and I don't blame you, man. It's a lot, it's like a lot, like from your perspective, is you got to cut through a lot of the bullshit, man. There's a lot, especially with New Year's coming up, man. You're gonna see a lot of 20-day fitness challenges, a lot of fit teas, a lot of like cookie cutter fitness influencers putting up a $10 program, and it's just like, none of that shit's gonna work, man. It's still gonna be where you are in 2 weeks. But yeah, so I hear you, man. It's like you got to cut through a lot of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But what made you actually start? Like, what got you to that point where you're like, all right, let me start with this guy? Like, would you see it? Because for all you know, I could have been one of these fitness influencers putting up some bullshit, you know? Like,
yeah, well, I mean, one reason was just that I tried everything else by myself and wasn't having any luck. So I think it was time to bring in a coach and join a group that was doing it. And then the other thing was I saw all the stuff you were posting, and I saw the testimonials and the results from other people. So I knew that this was a real program, you know, and that you were a serious person and knew what you were doing. So I figured, well, yeah, I could probably take a chance on this.
Yeah, you know, I wasn't going to just give you some fit tea on day one and stuff. Get lost. Nah. Nah, for sure, man. Like I said, there's a lot of nonsense out there. But in general, over the course of 12 weeks, I feel like me and you on these coaching calls, like we've talked about a lot of things, just a lot of key concepts, a lot of fundamental stuff, but like a lot of concepts that you've been able to implement and just kind of simplify things for you. So what would you say that you've learned over the process in terms of fitness and just how this stuff works, and as well as about yourself?
Well, I think the biggest thing I've learned is that how important consistency is. I mean, because that's something I haven't had before, and that's one of the big changes that I have now is that it's, you know, having these calls every week like keeps me consistent, keeps me honest, and that really seems to be one of the keys. The other key is the accountability too, because you're in a group. You know, you've got other people that you're on a call with. And then there's calls with you too. So it's like, you know you're going to be seeing these people every week. So, you know, there's kind of that sort of accountability. So that's a big part of it too.
Yeah. Yeah. And and just on that point, like you said, consistency is super important. I think it's just like the most important thing, because you see, like, even over the holidays, man, like we've had times where we've gone over our calories. You had times where we've put a game plan in place, and maybe the weekend you had a couple beers or like whatever it is, maybe you overate. Like I think one weekend a few weeks ago that happened. But at the end of the day, your weight bumped up a little bit, but it didn't matter. I mean, it still trended in the right direction. That was just one off. You know what I mean? So because you were so consistent over the course of 12 weeks, that's why, you know, we are where we are now. So yeah, man, good point there. What did you learn about yourself throughout the process? Like, oh shit, I can do this. Like,
no, that's really it. I mean, like, oh, I actually can do this, you know. And that other people have the exact same problem I have. You know, consistency's really hard. So, you know.
Yeah, you start thinking like, you start thinking there's something wrong with you. Like, yo, why aren't I more disciplined? Yo, I know what I'm doing. I've done this before. It's like, yo, man, like even I struggle with this stuff sometimes, and that's why I have people I check in with. So yeah, man, that's good to know that you were able to relate to other people with the same type of problems.
Yeah.
So where would you say that you're at now? You know, I mean, you're a little bit lighter, a little bit leaner. Where would you say you're at now in terms of just how you feel, how you look, confidence, emotionally, that kind of thing?
Yeah, I mean, I feel good because, you know, definitely leaner than I've been in a long time, and leaner than I've ever been able to get, you know, to get while trying. You know, because when I tried by myself, I couldn't really ever get there. So that's pretty awesome. And I have like no doubts about getting, you know, losing another, like, whatever it is, 10 pounds or whatever. I don't really have any doubts about doing that. So that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, like that confidence and that just certainty is there. Like, yo, we're gonna get there. It's just a matter of, I mean, we have an idea when we're gonna get there, but it's like just a matter of when.
Yeah, exactly.
Or what? So, yeah.
Yeah. Plus, if I need to do it again or I need to like maintain, like I know how to do it now. So that's a great confidence boost.
Yeah, no, for sure, man. Because that's what it's about, man. Like, who cares if we can lose? Like, you can. I think you told me before you've done keto and stuff like that. It's like, who cares if you can lose 20 pounds like that? I mean, if you can't keep it off, if you're not going to keep doing that, it's just no point. So
yeah,
it just gets more demoralizing as you go along. So yeah, man, I'm glad that you were able to develop some skills around this stuff too, to where, you know, you can replicate this type of thing over time.
Yeah, that's been great.
Yeah. So what's your go-to meal? Like, I know you're one of those people, like, and I'm the same way. Like, you can kind of just eat the same few meals in rotation and be fine with it. You know, some people need something different in the kitchen every day, but you and I think we're very similar in that. Like, I'll eat something if it works. You know, I'll eat something if it's simple to make. So with that being said, like, what was your go-to meal or like meals?
One of my go-tos that I really like is like a high protein, just ham sandwich. Um, because and it sounds ridiculous, but I like it because it has, you've got some carbs from the bread, you've got some fat from the mayo. I use fat-free cheese and I use a ton of ham, and it just kind of checks all those boxes, and it's got like 37 grams of protein in it, so it's high protein. So you're making your protein for the day, and it also kind of gets all those little cravings you have for carbs and fat. So, but without going over. So
Right.
that's been great.
Right. So what I'm taking away from this as well is like you didn't have to like eat some like I think people have this idea of like what it means to eat clean or be healthy, and it's like chicken and broccoli and rice, or it's just like some superfoods and a whole bunch of kale. Like don't get me wrong, you can do that, but in order to get to where you were going, you didn't have to do that. You can have an ordinary meal, something that a lot of us eat already, like a ham sandwich, and you just make it. You put it together in a way where it makes sense. You use
Yeah.
fat-free cheese. You use, you still use regular bread. You didn't have to swap that out, but you use more ham because it's higher in protein. And that's going to keep you satiated, and it's going to get you closer to your protein goal for the day. So, I mean, that's what I take away from something like that. But
Yeah, no, it's been great. I mean, I'm using regular regular mayonnaise because I don't really like the taste of the low fat stuff.
yeah, we
But
tried that.
I did find some lower calorie bread, so it just kind of made up for it, and worked fine.
Right. So another thing is like so something you would normally do anyway. You just kind of made some small substitutions and changes. So your eating habits are very similar to kind of like what you've been doing.
Yeah, yeah, very similar.
Yeah. It's not like dunked you on your head and did a complete 180. It's like turning your whole world upside down, right? But
Yeah.
all right. So you're gonna like this one, man. What's your go-to vegetable?
We both know it's carrots.
That's it, man.
That's about it.
Why is that, man?
They're just easy to eat. I just like buying the little bags of like baby carrots, just those
Yeah.
little small ones, and I can just eat them. I just eat them with everything basically.
Yeah.
It's just like a nice kind of filler side dish, I guess you could say, that I eat once in a while. So
Yeah. Yeah. Plus, it's gonna. I mean, of course, we know there's a lot of micronutrients in that, like, but that's gonna keep you full as well. Like, I mean, I know when we started getting lower in calories, it was just like, all right, maybe I should eat a little more carrots. I should eat a little
yeah,
more vegetables in general, just to stay full.
yeah, yeah, it works great.
Yeah. Awesome. So with that being said, kind of along online with that, what's your biggest tip to adhere to low calories? I know a lot of people, guys we come into contact with, they think that they have to be starving, or they're kind of like worried that when they start eating less food, they're going to be like hungry, starving, and have to suffer through it. So, what's your best tip to adhere to the lower calories?
I'd say the biggest thing for me was finding like small items that I really like that are really easy to make, like the ham sandwich and like carrots and stuff, and then combine those in different ways for a meal. So that way you're still eating um, good things that hit your macros, but you can combine them in different ways to make the meal itself different. So you're not like eating the exact same combination of things every single time. So that's really helped.
Yeah.
Um,
So getting a bunch of simple, when I say simple, I mean easy to make, probably doesn't
yeah,
take much time, and easy to track. So meaning like most of the macros are pretty balanced, or they come from like one macro group, and then that way you're able to swap things in and out to so that it's not repetitive, it's not
yeah,
monotonous.
yeah, exactly.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, and I mean, and if you're eating pretty clean most of the time, like you're gonna be eating more food volume anyway. So you
Yeah,
probably
yeah,
won't be as hungry as you think. So, and that's not something we've really struggled with a lot, even though your calories are a little on the lower end at this point.
yeah, exactly. It's not a problem at all.
Yeah. Awesome, man. So last question I have is like, what's your biggest tip for guys in your situation? Full-time workers, you're struggling because you're working from home, struggle with the consistency, like you're busy as hell, you work a lot of hours. Like, what is your biggest tip for a guy like that? Someone who maybe was in your shoes 3 months ago.
Yeah, I mean, my biggest tip is just plan it out and know what you're going to eat, know what you like to eat, and know what's good for you, and then follow that plan. Especially on the weekends, because the weekends are pretty hard for me. It's the weekdays. Once you get into that structure on the weekdays, it's easy to stick to it. But then you get on the open weekends, and it's harder to stick to it, and easy to just kind of mess around. So I'd say once you do find out a good plan, good things you like to eat during the week. Don't change it up on the weekends. Just keep going. That seems to be
Keep the
work
structure.
best, so yeah.
Or even if you don't eat the same thing, like at least have an idea what you're gonna eat. That's a good point too, because like if we consider the weekend 3 days, like we go Friday, Saturday, Sunday for a typical weekend. Like if you're good Monday through Thursday, and then you mess up on the weekend, like that's almost half the week that you're messing up. So it's like I know a lot of guys who are like eating super clean and then they sabotage their results on the weekends because they don't plan, they don't prepare. So it's like, man, it's good advice, man. Just keep that same type of structure, even if it's not the same type of day. I know when your work schedule, if you have off work on the weekends or you're socializing more, it's a little bit difficult. But as long as you maintain that intention through the weekend, even if it's not perfect, you should be fine.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, sure, man. I think we covered a lot, man. Appreciate you hopping on. Anything else that you want to add?
Not really, man. It's just excited to keep going. I mean, I've
Yeah.
had some pretty sweet changes, so yeah, it's been great.
Yeah, man. So again, I'm proud of you for your 12-week results. We're gonna get you going another few months. We're gonna get you that 6-pack, man.
Hell yeah, man.
All right, bro. I'm gonna end this.